Alright, what's going on guys? Crypto Mac here, bringing you another crypto video. Today we're going to take a look at CasperLabs and just do a bit of an update video on this coin. There's not a lot to discuss, but there's a little bit to talk about, a bit of a breakout as you can already see, and a couple other indicators I'm going to take a look at. So just want to say this video is not financial advice, so please do your own research. So as already said, we have had a bit of a breakout here, which is, it's good to see because at the end of the day, Casper is trading at 11 cents, which is pretty low considering the local top we saw, which was at 24 cents, and we're down 50%. Right, and in this descending channel, we had a breakout, which was a fake out, as you can see right here. Right, we broke out. We did hold support as for a short period of time, and then came straight back in. So what we'll be watching is this going to play out again? And the channel was still valid because we came back up and tested it right here before getting rejection, and then we break out. So we're breaking out now, and we're now sitting above it. And so the idea is that we're probably going to come down and test a line of support. For that to take place, we're looking at about 10 cents and potentially lower than 10 cents if it's down here. It likely would be about this point. But this is quite a steep line, and therefore I don't think we actually need to test support. We could just break up and head higher. Right, it's been something that we've been talking about for a while. We've been talking about this big cup and handle to play out. It's been something I've been watching, as I said many times. If Bitcoin decides to actually wake up, head back to 50, 55k, 60, 70k all-time highs, that's where we could definitely see Casper making this move back up. Would get a big push and then could hit the target up here at 38 cents and start to make a big move again. Until that point happens, most altcoins is going to continue to bleed against Bitcoin, and it's going to be really hard to see coins do that. And therefore, it's really hard to see Casper to make that big move from where it's at. I mean, it's nearly now 100% move to get back up to where we were, and with the state the market's in, a lot of coins are pretty bearish. A lot of coins are down quite a lot. Altcoins are bleeding against Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is continuing to just move kind of sideways, not doing a lot. It's hard to see Casper to have a big push and head back up when all this is taking place. But I'm still bullish. I think we are just waiting for that breakout for Bitcoin, which could happen any day. You could wake up one day and Bitcoin could be at 53k. We could break that $52,000 resistance, and all of a sudden we look bullish again, and everyone's calling for 100k Bitcoin, and that's tends to be what happens, to be honest. And then when we come down a little bit, everyone says, okay, the market's done, the cycle's finished. So people tend to flip their ideas of being bullish and bearish pretty quickly, and there's just a lot of fear that can take place and throughout that whole period. But as I said, I'm still pretty bullish on Casper. I've said, like, we've had a breakout of a bullish pattern, and so that's always a good sign. So I'll just be watching it over the next sort of day or two. We could come back into this channel. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we can remain on the outside, and if we test the support, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm completely fine with coming down, testing some support around this 10 cent range, and then coming back up. That's completely fine. And it actually shows there's healthiness in the market, and shows this line is now a support line, and which was previously resistance. As you can see, 1, 2, 3 times, and now becomes support. So yeah, it's gonna be something I'm watching. Another thing to look at, I've got the logarithmic graph up at the moment for Casper. You can see, ever since this bottom, we can draw this out a little further. Ever since this bottom, there's kind of been a lot of support on this line. So if we look at it, there's 1 here, 2, 3, 4, a wick here, which you could technically count if you want. That's 5 points of support, and now we have our 6 point right here, currently on the line, and we're holding it as support. Really bullish, really good to see. I do like pulling out logarithmic charts and looking at these support lines on a more macro scale and on just a larger time frame, and to see, well, these corrections happen, but it's good to see when these corrections happen and you think, you know, where's the support? Like, we've just come down 50%, 60%, and then you zoom out a bit. You zoom out and you say, well, here's the support, and it's previously acted as support, and we're just holding the line now. Of course, if we break through this, then it's no longer a really trustworthy line. But again, we're holding it at the moment. We're holding the line. If we go below 11, 10 cents, then we'll break through, and we're not holding the line as such. So this is really good to see. Is pretty bullish for Casper, and is again something to be watching to make sure that we continue to hold this line moving forward. And another thing is just if we make a move back up, if we do start to move back up to whatever level, 20 cents, 30 cents or higher, and then come back down, well, all of a sudden our bottom, if it continues this trend, is now a lot higher. Right, if we come down here, we're looking at 16 cents, and if we go up 18, 19 cents, could be our future bottom and our future support line, which to get like, and that could be from, these corrections, which is 60%, 50%, to have a 50% correction and to hold support around that 19 cent levels is really good. So as for Casper, this is really good. And again, just something I'll be definitely watching moving forward. You could also, I don't really want to do this because there's only 2 touch points, but you could also say we're in this kind of upwards moving channel, which we might continue to trend between. I think we could trend between this until the end of the cycle, because this is a bearish pattern. We could trend between this for the end of the market cycle, another 3, 6, 9, 12 months, however long it goes for, and then eventually break out of the downside and see a big correction. It's something that could play out. Another thing to look at is Casper Bitcoin. Again, I'm on a pretty large time frame here, just kind of moving sideways for a while now. Had a really good run, and obviously resistance on this line, and we've come back down. So not a lot to talk about here. Casper's just, well, we had quite a few on the daily time frame here. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red candles in a row, and we finally got a green candle, so that's always good to start a trend back up, hopefully, where Casper can start to outperform Bitcoin again. So as for Bitcoin, let's have a look, because as I said at the start of the video, Bitcoin is going to heavily predict future movements for Casper, short, mid, long term, right? In the short term, if Bitcoin pumps, likely to see Casper pump. In the long term, if Casper starts to move back up to all-time high levels, very likely Casper will do the same. Casper will complete the cup and handle, and head higher. Again, it is just speculation, but it tends to be what is the case for altcoins. We've seen it. We see it all the time, basically. As for Bitcoin, as I said, it's currently just continuing to move sideways between this level of 52k. What is kind of bullish for Bitcoin right now is, which looks bearish but is bullish, is this falling channel or a falling wedge, right? That it's found itself in, because this is a bullish pattern. This is bullish. However, it looks bad because we're making lower highs and lower lows. But it actually is a bullish pattern, and I could see this being something that works in our favor. I mean, we might just have to trend between this for another, who knows, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, between these levels, just slowly making lower lows. We've already been here for 13 days. And we could go 20 days, 25 days, even further, and just continue to move between these lines. And this upper line gets slowly reduced, 48k, down to 47k, 46. And then eventually we see that big breakout, and you just see just a big spike, and Bitcoin just pumps out and has a massive move out. That could take place. And I would say it's somewhat likely that would take place. Just sort of, as I said, when you have these big parabolic moves, you often need big corrections, which we've seen. As I said, to our current positions, 32%, and to the week was nearly 40% correction. You need one big correction, and the second thing is you need accumulation. So you need to move sideways for a bit, relax a bit, consolidate, right? Have consolidate prices where you can just relax a bit, and that's what we're seeing for Bitcoin. So look, if you want my more long-term view, the first thing we need to do is complete the cup and handle, I think. So head back up, break this line at 22 cents. Again, this is long-term. I don't know when this will happen. It could be 3, 4 weeks, 1 or 2 months, or even longer if Bitcoin continues to move sideways. But to break this line is key. Get above it, and then look for our next target, 38 cents. If we have an extremely bullish 2022, I could see Casper going a lot higher. If we see Bitcoin heading to $100 or $150,000, Ethereum to 10, 15K, and then if we see a lot of altcoins just really pump, then we could see a lot of we could see Casper heading to 50 cents. I have targets here at 49 cents, 64 cents, and our top target, which is based off of Fibonacci retracement, is 74 cents, right? And 74 cents, I believe we can get there by Q2, Q3 next year. I definitely believe Casper could get there. Very dependent on the rest of the market. If we have another year of just kind of moving sideways, which I don't really expect, but if that does take place, as we saw in 2021, then it's likely that we won't get to this target. But I think Casper could definitely find itself well between this area. Look, I can't predict the future. I make reasonable assumptions. I speculate pretty heavily, and just based off my own opinion, the indicators I look at, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, the market as a whole, just look at everything, and I just give a view of where I think coins can get. And I think Casper could definitely find itself, if we have a really good 2022, then 74 cents is definitely on the cards. Getting back to a dollar level could be a chance for sure. Or it could just find itself, if the year isn't as great as we want, I could definitely see it getting to 40, 50, 60 cents, somewhere in that region. So let me know what you think of Casper. Please give the video a like, guys. I do appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you later.